On the third day of giving Walter the silent treatment, I found out I was pregnant. Even though I throw fits all the time, he'd never gone more than half an hour without trying to make up with me. This time, he never came. Instead, I got a screenshot. "Walter, if you don't come over tonight, I'm just going to find some random guy and give him my first time." Walter replied with a single word, "address." The screenshot was from 3 minutes ago. The person who sent it to me was Selena, Walter's childhood friend. "How dare you, Walter?" I knew it. No wonder he could ignore me for 3 days. He'd found someone else. Looking at the screenshot from Selena, I was instantly furious. The nerve. And she had the audacity to send it to me. Do I look like a pushover? Does she not know I used to be the terror of this town? It only took me 15 minutes to get to the hotel in the screenshot. I knocked once, and the door opened. Selena appeared before me, wearing a flimsy nightgown that was barely there. When she saw it was me, she instinctively tried to slam the door shut. I kicked the door open, grabbed her by the neck with one hand, and shoved her into the room. I glanced around. She was the only one there. Walter must not have arrived yet. Selena struggled, kicking her leg toward me. I dodged it easily and slapped her hard across the face, knocking her to the ground. She sat there, holding her cheek, staring at me in disbelief. For the past 2 years, I'd been playing the part of a delicate, helpless little flower. Acting weak was just a little game to please Walter. "Well, honey, I'm done pretending." "Gina. How dare you hit me?" Selena bit her lip, her eyes filled with rage. She scrambled to her feet and lunged at me. I had her pinned to the floor in a few moves, straddling her to hold her down. The commotion quickly attracted 2 hotel employees. "Get her!" Selena shrieked. This hotel was owned by her family, the Brooks. The 2 women rushed toward me at the same time. My parents made me learn martial arts when I was a kid. Turns out it comes in handy. 1 against 3, and I was handling it just fine. The scene was pure chaos. At some point, Selena's brother had joined the fray. Just as I was getting into the rhythm of the fight, I was yanked back into a familiar embrace. It was Walter. "You bastard. Are you taking her side?" I shot him a cold glare. "Honey, are you hurt?" Walter looked at me, his face etched with worry. Seeing Walter, the others froze in place. Only Selena whined in a sickeningly sweet voice, "Walter, she hit me." Walter didn't even glance at her. He let go of me and started carefully checking me over for injuries. The fire inside me burned even hotter. He really came to meet her. "You're the one who deserves a punch." I couldn't hold back. I threw a punch right at his ridiculously handsome face. The blow sent Walter stumbling back several steps. Once he steadied himself, he just stared at me, completely bewildered. The room fell dead silent. "Gina. I'm here." My best friend, Lily, had arrived. She rushed in front of me, spreading her arms to shield me. Lily shot Selena a contemptuous look and sneered, "Pathetic body, but you sure know how to dress like a tramp." Lily Herbert. Selena shrieked, raising her hand to slap her. I moved like lightning, grabbing her wrist and shoving her back to the ground. "Lily, let's go." Lily has 0 fighting skills. If a real brawl broke out, I was worried she'd get hurt. I grabbed Lily's hand, walked up to Walter, rolled my eyes at him, and said calmly, "You scumbag. I want a divorce." Walter's pupils contracted, a flash of pain in his eyes. He was about to speak when Selena cut him off. "Gina. You think you can just hit someone and walk away? Not a chance." She scrambled up from the floor, her face a mask of hate. "What? You want another round?" I turned and looked at her, completely unfazed. "Gina. You." Furious, Selena grabbed a ceramic cup from the table and hurled it at me. It happened so fast I had no time to dodge. Walter lunged, wrapping his arms around me to shield me completely. The cup smashed hard against his back. Damn, that really hurt. I heard Walter curse under his breath from above me. He held me even tighter. From the safety of his arms, I gloated, "Serves you right. Gina, you don't feel bad for me?" Walter's voice was low. His long fingers tilted my chin up, forcing me to look at him as he put on a pitiful expression. I swatted his hand away dismissively. Who had time for flirting right now? Suddenly, I heard Lily's voice. "Selena. How could you? If you stressed out the baby, my brother Jacob will make sure the Brooke Corporation is finished." Lily's old habit, when she gets worked up, her mouth runs away from her. Hearing her mention the baby, I remembered that I was pregnant. My baby. My precious little bean. Mommy completely forgot about you. Maybe the baby was unhappy, because a dull ache started in my lower abdomen. "Gina, you're pregnant?" Walter's voice trembled, his eyes filled with joy. "It's not yours," I blurted out. "It's definitely mine," Walter chuckled, gently wrapping his arm around my waist and placing a warm hand on my stomach. "Hey, baby. I'm your daddy." Anyone watching would think he actually loved me and the baby. Without hesitation, I pushed his hand away, not wanting him anywhere near me. My own hand unconsciously came to rest on my belly. Seeing me touch my stomach, Lily rushed to support me. The pain was getting stronger, and I felt unsteady on my feet. The next second, I was swept up into someone's arms. "Gina. How can you be so reckless when you're pregnant?" The voice was scolding, but full of concern. It was Jacob, my older brother by 2 years. My parents adopted him when I was 2. Their original plan was to raise him to be my future husband, but he's only ever seen me as a sister. Walter strode toward him, clearly displeased, and reached out to take me back. "Thanks for the trouble, brother-in-law, but I'll hold my own wife," Walter said, his brow furrowed with a hint of jealousy. He and Jacob had never gotten along. "Walter. Get lost. I don't want to see you." I turned my head and buried my face in my brother's chest. "Let go. Gina doesn't want to see you," Jacob said coldly, his dark eyes like ice. Walter froze, glanced at me, and slowly dropped his hands, his expression falling. Jacob had only taken a few steps before I was suddenly snatched from his arms and back into Walter's. I looked up at him, furious. The baby and I have a psychic connection. He wants his daddy to hold him, not his uncle. I never thought I'd see the day when the always prim and proper Walter would talk such nonsense. By the time we got to the hospital, Walter had already arranged everything. After a series of tests, we were back in the doctor's office. "When did the pain start? Did you do any strenuous activity beforehand?" "It started after the fight," I said weakly. A fight?" The doctor adjusted his glasses and gave us a serious look. "That's right. Our Gina took on 5 people," Lily said, glaring at Walter. "Where'd you get 5 from?" Walter muttered. "You count as 1. Don't make things up. I would never lay a hand on my Gina. A guy who ignores my Gina for 3 days is barely human." I silently applauded. Lily was right. I'd been out of the country for the past few days. Besides, both my assistant and I are currently on Gina's block list. Walter took a deep breath, his eyes full of grievance. "If you want to argue, do it outside." Jacob snapped, his face cold. The room fell silent. "The father can stay. Everyone else, please wait outside." This doctor was clearly a top expert in his field, completely unfazed by power and speaking with total authority. "I'm the father." Walter shot a triumphant look at Jacob. Jacob's face darkened. His gaze hardened, and he turned to leave without a second's hesitation. I was still fuming and didn't want to be alone with Walter, so I quickly grabbed Jacob's arm. "Jacob, I want you to stay with me." I looked at him with pleading eyes. "Okay." Jacob nodded, gently removed my hand, and then grabbed Walter and tossed him out of the office. He then shot a cool glance at Lily. Lily got the hint and walked out. Surprisingly, Walter didn't make a scene. He just stood outside obediently, looking at me with a wounded expression. The doctor said the baby was fine and then went over a long list of pregnancy do's and don'ts, reminding me to stay happy and relaxed. Happy? Not a chance. I needed to figure out how to deal with Walter. Half an hour later, Jacob and I left the doctor's office. Walter was standing right by the door. I ignored him and slowly followed my brother. "Honey, are you and the baby okay?" He gently took my wrist, his voice soft. "None of your business." I shook his hand off. "Honey, are you still mad about the strawberry cake?" Walter stopped me. The man stood 6'2", but he stooped slightly to look down at me, his eyes filled with a complex emotion. "Stay away from me." I spat the words out coldly and shoved him away. He tried to grab me again, but Jacob caught his arm. "Don't make me get physical." Walter scoffed. "I'm waiting." He raised a hand, rolled up his sleeve, and unbuttoned the top 2 buttons of his shirt, revealing a faint but distinct bite mark on his collarbone. "TSK, TSK. The evidence of your affair is right there on your body." Lily saw it too and pointed at Walter's collarbone. Walter gave a wry smile and exposed his collarbone completely. "This? Take a guess who did it." "Biting the collarbone? You must have been having a wild time." "How would I know which little tramp you were with?" Lily rolled her eyes. Jacob glanced at me, a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. I felt a little guilty and lowered my head. "Honey, why don't you tell them who bit me?" "It really hurt," Walter said without a shred of guilt, his voice booming. "Lower your voice." "It's not something to be proud of," I muttered, my voice barely audible. "Gina. You bit him? Oh my God, you two are into that?" Lily had a big mouth. Jacob's face looked fouler than a dead fish. "I want to go home." This was not the place to be. We had an audience. The janitor had been mopping the same spot for 10 minutes. A security guard had been patrolling the same 10 feet for just as long. And then there were the passers-by who kept coincidentally walking back and forth. Walter followed us to the parking garage. Lily, Jacob, and I got into one car. Walter drove behind us. In the car. "Gina, let me tell you, while you were in the doctor's office, Walter was plastered to the door, eavesdropping the whole time. His usual cool, aloof image was completely gone. He looked ridiculous. The second you came out, he tried to act all casual. It was hilarious." Lily laughed without a care in the world. I sat in the back, occasionally stealing glances at Walter's car in the rearview mirror. Jacob drove in silence, his face a grim mask. "Gina, what's this about a strawberry cake?" Lily asked, her face full of curiosity. "The other day, I was really craving a strawberry cake from Sweet Treats. That jerk promised to get me one, but he came home late, and he didn't have it." "Ugh. That's it?" Lily frowned. I nodded meekly. For some reason, I'd been desperately craving that cake, and when Walter came home empty-handed, I was furious. He said he got held up with something at the office, and by the time he got there, the bakery was closed. He tried to explain, but I wasn't listening. I just ignored him, and then he didn't come home for 3 days. Lily said, He just said he was out of the country for 3 days. You were mad about the cake because you're in the early stages of pregnancy. You're probably more irritable." "When is she not irritable?" "A strawberry cake?" "Gina, you've been completely spoiled by that bastard Walter." Jacob gripped the steering wheel, his tone harsh. "Okay, maybe I was being unreasonable about the cake, but what about him and Selena?" I pouted, feeling wronged. "I'll look into the thing with Selena." After that, Jacob didn't say another word. The rest of the drive to my family's house was quiet. My parents and my uncle were in the yard, fiddling with something. Jacob had to take Lily home. I stormed out of the car. My parents walked right past me and went over to Walter. Our dear son-in-law, what's she throwing a tantrum about this time? My dad asked with a weary look. I had to laugh. I was their actual, biological daughter. Walter greeted my parents respectfully. I cut him off. Your daughter has it so tough. Walter was meeting another woman at a hotel. None of you are to let him in this house. Or else. Honey, I wasn't, Walter said, looking visibly distressed. I strode into the house and slammed the door shut. I could hear them talking outside. What's going on? Finally had enough of Gina? Looking for fun elsewhere? That was my uncle's annoying voice. Absolutely not. I only want Gina, Walter said, his tone firm. I leaned against the back of the door, listening closely. My mom, what's this about a hotel? It's a misunderstanding. When Stone Industries was in trouble years ago, the Brooke family helped us out. After I took over, my father always told me to remember that debt. But after Mr. Brooke passed away, their company started going downhill. Now, it's our company that's propping them up. My uncle, get to the point. I'll just show you the chat history. I've already blocked her. It was quiet outside for about 30 seconds. How can that girl be so shameless, throwing herself at him like that? My mom said, irritated. My uncle, so you're saying, she asked you to meet her and threatened you, and out of respect for your family's history, you got the address and then sent the chat logs to her brother? Yes. I've already told Leo Brooke that if anything like this happens again, Stone Industries will pull all its investments from their company and cut all ties. I vaguely remembered Walter mentioning that the Brooks had helped his family, but he still showed up at the hotel, didn't he? Why else would he go there? My mom, and Gina refused to listen to your explanation, didn't she? Walter, Mom, Gina's probably just emotional because of the pregnancy. Let her calm down, and I'll explain it to her again. Gina's pregnant? All three of them said it at once. Yes. Please take good care of her. I'll just wait out here in the yard until she's not angry anymore. Walter always had endless patience. You're so pathetic in your love for her. Did our Gina save your life? Or does she have some dirt on you? My uncle asked, frowning suspiciously. Uncle, it's not pathetic. I love Gina. I can't live without her. Walter was always so open about his love for me. Listening to him, I couldn't keep the smile off my face. Maybe this really was a misunderstanding. You really are a lovesick fool, my dad said, clearly trying to hold back a laugh. A titan of the business world, a peasant in the court of love, my uncle teased. I heard footsteps outside and instinctively ran upstairs. I got back to my room just as the footsteps were getting closer. I flopped onto the sofa and pretended to be playing on my phone. They knocked and came in. You're about to be a mother, and you're still so willful. Can't you feel how much Walter loves you? My mom sat down next to me, her hand gently stroking my belly. I didn't say anything. You heard everything clearly from behind the door just now, right? It was a misunderstanding, my dad said bluntly. Who was behind the door? I don't know what you're talking about, I said, being stubborn. We saw you run upstairs in a hurry. We saw it all, my mom said, gently pinching my ear. I'm still mad. I'll talk to him when I've calmed down. My mom, oh, Gina. You really need to work on that temper of yours. You get angry at the drop of a hat, you're always packing your bags and running back home, always saying you're done with Walter. I do not. When have you not been unreasonable? That time Walter's flight was delayed and he missed your birthday, didn't you make a scene for everyone to see? And that other time, when he was feeling sick and stayed home to rest, he said he was just tired because he didn't want you to worry. And what did you do? You threw a huge tantrum, yelling at him for sleeping instead of taking you out on his day off. And... Stop. I'm going to sleep. I didn't want to hear any of it. Walter has really spoiled you rotten. Sigh, my mom let out a helpless sigh and slowly got up from the sofa. You've spoiled her plenty yourself, my dad said, glancing at my mom. Me? What about you? And her brother spoils her too, my mom retorted. Let's go, let's go. It's getting cold tonight, and it's not my husband who'll be freezing outside. My dad pulled my mom out of the room as he spoke. The moment they left, I ran to the window. Our eyes met. That idiot Walter was standing straight as a board downstairs, staring up at my window. I stepped back, and my phone rang. It was my cousin, Ryan. Hey, Gina. I looked into it for you. Mr. Pureheart has been out of the country on business these past few days. He came straight home as soon as he landed. He only went to the hotel because you weren't there. You can check 1,000,000 times, and the answer will be the same. Your man is as clean as a whistle. He avoids other women like the plague. Ryan liked to call Walter Mr. Pureheart. Ryan and I have been super close since we were kids. When Jacob wouldn't play dress up with me, I'd pester Ryan, and he was always happy to join in. Ryan moved abroad after graduation. Even though we haven't seen each other in 3 years, we're still tight. His words made me waver even more. It must have been a real misunderstanding. Time to change the subject. Hey, Ryan, didn't you say you were coming back this month? It's a secret. I've got a surprise for you, he said mysteriously. Fine. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I wanted to go downstairs to my Walter. I was done talking to him. Gina, your man is an absolute saint, so stop giving him such a hard time. The most important thing in a marriage is trust, and you can always trust your Mr. Pureheart. He'll never let you down. Ryan, you were the one who told me Walter was handsome and rich and that I needed to keep a close eye on him. Ryan, how was I supposed to know that a guy with a face like that would be such a hopeless romantic? I laughed out loud. If Walter was the king of monogamy, then so was I. We were each other's first love, and we'd given each other all our firsts. I know. I'll try to control my temper. Good night. As I spoke, I glanced out the window at Walter, who was looking up at me with so much love in his eyes. Ryan, just relax, Gina. It's not just me who has spies watching him for you. That Jacob kid has even more people on it. He's just waiting for his chance to step in. Ha ha ha. Step in? What do you mean? I was confused. You don't know that Jacob is in love with you? Are you that dense? Ryan's tone was incredulous. Jacob is not in love with me. I was sure of it. Why was I so sure Jacob didn't love me? I'd known since I was little that Jacob was adopted. When I was a kid, all my aunts and uncles would drop hints, telling me that Jacob was my future husband. Jacob wasn't just handsome, he was exceptional in every way. It was hard not to like him. He doted on me, so I figured he must like me, right? So, before I turned 18, I subconsciously believed that Jacob was the man I was going to marry. It wasn't until my 18th birthday that I realized how wrong I was. Thinking about that night is still so embarrassing. I wore a sexy little dress and perfect makeup, and I tried to give him a kiss, but he rejected me. I was a teenager, full of romantic dreams. All my friends, except for Lily, were dating, and my heart was fluttering. Plenty of great guys pursued me, but I turned them all down. Jacob was my future husband, after all. I couldn't be unfaithful to him. My friends all knew about me and Jacob and encouraged me to make the first move and make our relationship official. After my birthday party, it was just the two of us left. He gently held my head and leaned in close, carefully picking tiny pieces of confetti out of my hair. He was so close, my heart was racing. His face got closer and closer, and his pleasant scent enveloped me. I gritted my teeth, summoned all my courage, stood on my tiptoes, and slowly moved my lips toward his. He was my future husband, anyway. We were going to kiss eventually. But the next second, Jacob's warm hand covered my mouth. Gina, have some self-respect. His voice was flustered. Then you kiss me. I closed my eyes. Maybe he wanted to be the one to initiate it. After a long moment with no kiss, I slowly opened my eyes and met his beautiful, almond-shaped ones. I'm your brother, and you're my sister. His tone was serious and firm. My face instantly turned beet red. It had all been in my head. Jacob saw me as his little sister, but I saw him as my future husband. I was wrong. It was all wrong. Jacob. I was just kidding. I forced a smile, turned, and ran back to my room at top speed. Strangely, aside from the embarrassment, I didn't feel sad at all. Jacob didn't love me, he saw me as a sister. That meant we could never be together. He would find a girl he loved someday, and I was free to like other boys. Other boys, an image flashed through my mind. He was here tonight. He even gave me a gift. I ran downstairs and, amidst the pile of presents, unerringly found his. It was a custom-made diamond bracelet. It even had my name engraved on it, Gina. It was so thoughtful. I loved it. Inside the box was a card. It read, Gina, may you have peace in spring, comfort in summer, tranquility in autumn, and joy in winter. May all your days be smooth, and may all your wishes come true. It was signed, Walter. His handwriting was strong and clean. I liked it even more. I remembered the first time I met Walter. I'd gone with Jacob to his house to do homework. Back then, they were still best friends, before our family's companies became rivals. My first impression was that he was even more handsome than Jacob, with an air of refined elegance. At the time, I thought Jacob was my future husband, so I pushed the thought away. But after Jacob made things clear, my thoughts of Walter grew stronger. After that night, Jacob started avoiding me. He arranged everything for me at college and then went abroad to study. My dad said Jacob asked to go. It seemed I'd really scared him off. As soon as Jacob left, Walter started appearing in my life more and more. It wasn't long before we started dating in secret. So I was certain that Jacob could not possibly be in love with me. My train of thought was interrupted by Ryan. Oh, my dear Gina, there's so much you don't know. The day you and Walter got married, Jacob nearly drank himself to death. I think he didn't recognize his own feelings back then, and now he's full of regret. The more I listened, the more something felt off. Before you got married, Jacob and Walter were best friends. After their family companies became rivals, they pretended not to get along in public, but they were still close in private. When Jacob went abroad, he asked the famously uninterested in women Walter to look after you and fend off any guys who tried to hit on you. Who would have thought that Walter himself was the biggest threat? Ryan continued. That made me think of the day Jacob found out about me and Walter. He completely lost it. After Walter and I started dating, we moved in together into an apartment Jacob had arranged for me, close to campus. One day, we got caught in the rain coming back from class. We went home to shower and change before going out for dinner. But just as we were about to leave, Walter changed his mind. He decided he'd rather have me for dinner. He carried me to the bedroom and pressed me down onto the bed. His phone on the living room table started ringing non-stop. Walter, your phone. Ignore it, he said with a wicked smile, his eyes burning with desire. Before I could react, his fiery lips were all over me like a storm, each kiss possessive and demanding. After a moment, his phone stopped ringing, and mine started. I reached for my phone, but Walter quickly pinned my wrists above my head. Gina, focus. Walter was very busy. As he spoke, his hands grew even bolder. My phone continued to ring incessantly. Annoyed, he reached over to hang up. Silence. Rip. The sound of fabric tearing. Walter. Don't rip it. This dress is new. I tried to stop his restless hands. I'll buy you more. How about 100 new dresses? Walter whispered sweet nothings in my ear, his movements never ceasing. He was always good at coaxing, but he never stopped. Suddenly, an enraged roar came from outside the door. "Walter! Get your ass out here!" The door was pounded with thunderous blows, as if it was about to shatter. Hearing that familiar voice, Walter and I stared at each other. Why was Jacob outside? We both looked at my phone and saw that it was on an active call with him. Walter immediately let go of me. The top of my dress was in tatters. He put his jacket on me and carefully buttoned every single button. After we both straightened ourselves up a bit, Walter opened the door. Jacob's eyes fell on Walter, whose face and neck were still smeared with lipstick. He shoved Walter aside and looked at me with an expression of pure despair. Jacob took a deep breath, his body trembling violently. He swung his fist and punched Walter hard. "I told you to take care of her, not to take her to bed," Jacob demanded, his eyes red. I quickly grabbed Jacob's arm as he was about to land a second punch. "Jacob, don't hit him. Walter and I are really in love," I yelled. Walter seized the opportunity to pull me into his arms, holding me tight. He looked Jacob straight in the eye and said, word for word, "I'm serious about Gina. I love her, and I'm going to marry her." A desolate, bitter smile crossed Jacob's face. He stared at me silently and asked, "Was this your first time?" I shook my head. "How many times, then?" Jacob's voice trembled. "I've lost count," I answered honestly. "Lost count? Ha! Then what about me? What does that make me?" Jacob's eyes were bloodshot, his voice fading to a whisper before he turned and walked away. I had always thought he lost control because he was angry that I had started dating in secret and hadn't told him. But could it be that he was really in love with me? After hanging up with Ryan, I looked out the window again. The temperature had really dropped. Walter was barely wearing anything, and he was still standing there like an idiot. He's my husband. It's my job to worry about him. I went downstairs and opened the door. Walter came running over like an eager puppy, his eyes full of love. Back in our room, Walter held me and started to explain. "Honey, I came home and you weren't here. I checked your location and saw you were at that hotel, so I went to find you. I have zero interest in that woman. Please don't overthink things, okay?" I hugged him and nodded. "I know. I'm sorry, too. I'll work on my temper." Walter pecked me on the cheek, his warm hand gently resting on my stomach. "Honey, I'm so happy. I'm going to be a dad." The corners of his mouth turned up, his eyes shining with the joy of a father-to-be. The next morning, I was woken by a knock on the door. "Gina. It's 10 o'clock. Time to get up for breakfast." It was Jacob's voice. I was so tired. I snuggled deeper into Walter's arms. Walter smiled fondly and held me closer. "Gina. Get up. I bought you your favorite soup dumplings from Lou's." Jacob raised his voice. Annoyed by the noise, I let out a little groan. "Okay, brother-in-law." Walter answered for me. The noise outside stopped. A few seconds later, I heard footsteps walking away. When Walter and I went downstairs for breakfast, Jacob was already gone. As I ate the dumplings he'd bought, my head was full of questions. Could Jacob really be in love with me? That would be so awkward. The days that followed were pure bliss for Walter and me. But I never expected that, not long after, Selena would strike again, sending another photo and a voice message. In the photo, she was hugging a man, but you could only see his back. I have excellent eyesight. Who else could that be but my husband? Just as fury was about to consume me, I told myself, "Calm down, Gina. Don't fly off the handle again. It could be photoshopped." I had to trust Walter. But after I played the voice message, all sense of calm vanished. It was the sound of a man groaning. I knew that sound all too well. It was Walter. I checked his location. He was in the Bel Air district, probably at Selena's house. I sent the location to my parents with a message, "Your wonderful son-in-law." Then I sped over to Selena's house. Sure enough, the Rolls-Royce I bought for him was parked right in front of her place. "Walter. I'm going to kill you both." Just as I got out of the car, I saw Walter staggering out of the house, barely able to walk. The left sleeve of his white shirt was stained with blood. "Having some wild fun, were we? So wild you're bleeding and can't even walk straight?" I rushed up and punched him. "Walter. I hate you. I'm done with you." My eyes blazed with fury. "Honey, let me explain." Walter grabbed me, looking extremely weak. I shoved him away with all my might, sending him stumbling backward. "Get lost. Honey, don't move around so much. You'll stress out the baby," Walter said softly, as if he was too exhausted to speak. I was so mad I wasn't thinking straight. "I'm getting rid of the baby," I blurted out. Walter's body went rigid. He hung his head, looking completely broken. "Gina, you promised you'd trust me. Why don't you believe me?" I couldn't stand being there a second longer. I turned to leave. Walter grabbed my wrist. "Where are you going?" I wrenched my arm free and answered coldly, "To get an abortion." "Gina, the baby will be sad if it hears that," Walter said, his brow furrowed, his voice trembling. I turned and walked away without a shred of hesitation. "Gina. Please, just believe me." I heard Walter's voice behind me, but I clenched my jaw and didn't stop. My parents' car pulled up just then. I got in my own car and drove off. Not long after I got home, I received a call from Leo Brooke. After we hung up, I opened my phone and watched the security footage he sent me. My world collapsed. I had, yet again, misunderstood my honest husband. Leo told me that his family was finished. Walter was going to destroy them, and he was begging me for mercy. To save himself, he had already sent Selena to a black site in Myanmar. Leo and his sister had tricked Walter, telling him that Selena had already been sent abroad. They lured him to their house, drugged his tea, and planned to film a video to blackmail him with. In the security footage, the drug was taking effect. Walter could barely stand, and Selena took the opportunity to hug him and take the picture. The groan in the voice message must have been from the pain of being drugged. In the video, Walter's entire body was resisting Selena's touch. Before he lost consciousness, he smashed a glass on a nearby table, pushed Selena away, and without a moment's hesitation, slashed his own left arm with a shard of glass. The pain seemed to clear his head. Holding the shard, he used all his strength to kick open the door and disappear from the camera's view. No wonder his sleeve was bloody. I'm an idiot. Now I have to figure out how to make it up to him. It probably wouldn't be a big deal. Even if I didn't try to make up with him, Walter would probably find a way to make up with himself. But by midnight, Walter still hadn't come home. After thinking it over, I decided to call him. I called 3 times, but no one answered. He's not answering my calls. Fine. I'll just ignore him, then. I tried to go to sleep, but I just tossed and turned. When I woke up the next day, Walter wasn't there, but my mom was. She launched into a lecture, telling me I was impulsive, brainless, and always throwing tantrums, saying cruel things, and bullying her wonderful son-in-law. I didn't dare argue. She was right about everything. She told me to go to his office that afternoon and talk things out with him. I thought that was a good idea. I'd bring some of my homemade cookies. Walter loves my cookies. I spent the morning in the kitchen, making a big box of them. "Those cookies look completely unappetizing," my mom commented from the side. "Looks don't matter. They have to taste good." "Walter loves my cookies," I said confidently. My mom looked skeptical, picked one up, and took a bite. "Have you actually tasted these yourself?" she asked with a frown. I shook my head. "I don't like cookies." "Are you sure Walter loves them?" I nodded. "Walter says I'm amazing and my cookies are delicious." All right then. I guess everyone has different tastes. As long as he likes them. He certainly has. Unique taste. That afternoon, I took my cookies to the Stone Industries headquarters. Everyone at the company knows me, so I walked straight into the CEO's office. The door was ajar, and I could hear a woman's pleasant laughter coming from inside. I stormed in. A woman with a fantastic figure was leaning close to Walter, looking at the same document. I controlled myself. Calm down, Gina. Trust Walter. Who are you? I asked, giving the woman a polite but pointed glare. You must be the boss's wife. I'm the new special assistant, temporarily filling in for Mr. Lee. The woman's voice was even sweeter than mine. She was very attractive, and there was something familiar about her. Where's Mr. Lee? He had a family matter to attend to and took 2 weeks off, the woman answered with a smile. I found that I couldn't dislike her. In fact, I felt a strange urge to get closer to her. If even I couldn't resist her, she must be driving Walter crazy. You, get out, I said, glancing at her. Ma'am, I can't leave just yet. The CEO and I still have things to discuss. The woman nudged Walter with her arm. Walter, who hadn't said a word, finally looked at me. You should go. I stormed out with my cookies, slamming the door behind me. Walter was definitely doing this to annoy me. I can't be impulsive. I can't lose it. I have to change. I waited outside obediently. They were in there for a long time. What if they were doing something? I pressed my ear to the door, then peeked through a crack in the curtains. After what felt like an eternity, they both came out. Honey, I brought your favorite cookies. I cozied up to Walter and offered him the box. The woman casually took the box from me, opened it, popped a cookie in her mouth, all in one smooth motion. I was too stunned to move. These are disgusting, the woman said with a look of disdain. I got even angrier. Walter snatched the cookie box from her and looked at me. You should go home. I have another meeting. His tone was ice cold. Was this really my sweet husband? I'll wait for you, I said, trying to be pleasant. Walter didn't say anything. He and the woman left together. As she walked away, the woman glanced back at me with a provocative look. I'll endure this. I will. I waited for him in his office. There was a photo of us on his desk. That was good. Bored, I started snooping around to pass the time. In his drawer, there was a notebook. I opened it curiously. It was filled with lists of things to buy for the baby, things a pregnant woman needs, and ideas for how to decorate the nursery. It was all handwritten. He was so thoughtful. That's my man. Under the notebook were 2 books. How to Make Your Wife Happy. What a Loving Husband Does. I burst out laughing. That silly fool. Also in the drawer was a pair of little dolls I had made, one representing me and one representing him. The dolls were positioned so their lips were touching. The doll that represented me was faded from how much he must have touched it. Such a childish man. After a long wait, I fell asleep, slumped over his desk. I don't know how long I slept, but I woke up because I was hot. There was a woman's coat draped over me. The perfume was strong, the same scent as that woman. I tossed the coat aside in disgust. So they had been back. It was already past closing time. Where did they go? I left the office, and the receptionist came over to me. Mrs. Stone, the CEO has already gone home. He said for you to go home on your own when you woke up. My heart sank. Walter. How dare you? You left your dear wife at the office and just took off. Dejected, I left and went home. My mom had prepared a huge dinner. I thought Walter would be there and searched the whole house for him. Come and eat. You're always so full of energy, my mom called out. Has Walter been home? I asked. My mom nodded. He left right before you got here. He packed a bag and said he's busy at work, so he'll be staying at the office for a while. I chewed on my chopsticks, my appetite gone. This time, Walter was really angry. Was he going to leave me? After dinner, I lay on the sofa, thinking about our time together. He had always spoiled me, indulged me, which made me even more impossible. After much deliberation, I sent Walter a few texts trying to make up. Walter, when are you coming home? I can't sleep when you're not here. Honey, I miss you so much. The baby misses you too. Honey, I'll be good from now on, I promise. He didn't reply. I fell asleep waiting. I don't know if it's the pregnancy, but I've been so sleepy lately. When I woke up, it was the next day. I was in my bed, not on the sofa. Had Walter come home? My mood lifted instantly. Just then, my mom opened the door. Time for breakfast. Did Walter come home last night? Nope, that was your dear old mom who had to haul you from the sofa to the bed, my mom said with a smirk. Humph. I grunted unhappily and burrowed back under the covers. While I was racking my brain for a way to fix the tension between Walter and me, Lily came to visit. She brought me several sets of maternity clothes. Now that I was pregnant, I obviously couldn't wear my cute little dresses anymore. Lily, all the clothes on the left side of the closet are yours for the taking. They're pretty much all new, limited edition pieces. The clothes on the right were all gifts from Walter, my personal collection. Well, don't mind if I do. Gina, I'm mainly here because the conductor wanted me to ask if you could fill in for Leah at the concert in 3 days. What happened to Leah? I ran into her at the hospital not long ago. I think she's pregnant too, I asked casually. Leah went missing at sea. It doesn't look good. She and her husband's old flame were taken hostage, and her husband chose the other woman over her. The kidnapper pushed her off the boat while she was pregnant. Now her older son is crying for his mommy all the time. It's so sad. That Landon is such a scumbag, Lily said, getting more and more upset. Just hearing about it makes me mad. Leah is so wonderful. Is Landon blind? I know about that old flame of his. She's got a whole closet full of skeletons. Leah and I were friendly. We used to perform together in an orchestra. She played the cello, Lily played the viola, and I played the violin. That afternoon, I went with Lily to the concert hall and tried out the cello. It went well, so I was confirmed for the performance in 3 days. After saying goodbye to Lily, I took a ticket and went to find Walter. When I got there, his office was empty. He must have been in a meeting. I scrolled through my phone while I waited. Headline: Lou Corpair dives into the sea 3 times in desperate search for wife pushed overboard by kidnappers, a testament to his deep love. Who was he putting on a show for? Shameless bastard. After half an hour, Walter and his new assistant came back to the office. Honey, will you come see me perform in 3 days? I asked, clinging to his arm and laying on the charm. Didn't you say you were going to rest and take care of the baby? Walter looked at me suspiciously. I'm just filling in on the cello. It's just this once. The CEO has an all-day international conference in 3 days. He probably won't be able to make it. But I can go, the female assistant said with a bright smile. Who asked you? I said, thoroughly annoyed. We'll see, Walter said, taking the ticket from my hand. Honey, I'll be sad if you don't come. But it's okay if you can't. My rare performance is obviously not as important as your work, I said, my words dripping with sarcasm. Is there anything else? I have a lot to do, Walter said, his tone incredibly cold. I shook my head. Walter and the assistant exchanged a look and left the office together again. I went home, feeling dejected and wronged. Walter had never been this cold to me. He must not love me anymore. He must be fed up with me. No. That can't be it. Walter has to love me. I've always been meticulous about my work, so the next 3 days of rehearsals left me no time to think about love and relationships. Walter didn't come home for those 3 days. How cruel. On the day of the performance, my whole family came, even Jacob. I scanned the audience for Walter, but he wasn't there. Fine. If he's not coming, he's not coming. I couldn't let it affect my performance. I composed myself and played with all my focus. When the concert was over, Walter still hadn't shown up. But his assistant was there, waving at me from the audience. Backstage, a bouquet of my favorite flowers, Lisianthus, was waiting for me, just like always. There was a card inside, in Walter's handwriting. Heh. He must have been hiding somewhere, watching me perform. The janitor told me a very handsome man had just left. I grabbed the flowers and ran to find him. Outside the concert hall, 2 people were struggling. The female assistant had her arms wrapped around Walter's neck and was trying to pull him away. How dare she? Seducing my husband. I charged forward, yanked her off him, and unleashed a flurry of punches. Not the face. I paid a fortune for this nose. Not here either. This is my favorite chin. Help. Don't hit the most expensive part of my body. Gina. It's me. It's me. That voice. Ryan? Walter grabbed me from behind and pulled me away from the assistant. Back at home, the whole family was sitting in the living room. Ryan explained everything. They had all staged an act to teach me a lesson. Walter, we agreed you'd be cold to her, but you immediately went behind our backs to give your wife flowers, Ryan said, rolling his eyes at Walter. I give Gina flowers after every performance. If I didn't this time, she'd be upset. She's so hard to please. Besides, what if it backfired and she left me? What would I do then? Walter said, pulling me into a hug. Ryan, go ahead, keep spoiling her. You made your bed, now lie in it. Don't come crying to us. This is absurd. Jacob dropped those words and walked out. Oh my God. This is so unfair. My closest family members all conspired against me. I leaned against Walter, full of resentment. My parents looked at each other and then quietly left the room. Ryan was the last one to stay. I stood up and looked him up and down. My cousin had become a cousine. This wasn't a surprise, it was a shock. But he really did pull it off. What are you looking at? Never seen a beautiful woman before? Ryan's voice went back to its high-pitched tone. With that, he teetered out on his high heels. Now it was just me and Walter. I hugged him, with so much to say. Walter, you came home every night, didn't you? You found out? Walter gently pinched my cheek. I just had this vague feeling that someone was secretly kissing me and touching my belly. Walter smiled. You said you couldn't sleep without me. I'd rush home, and you'd be fast asleep on the sofa, so I'd carry you to bed. I couldn't stop myself from coming back to see you every night. I snuggled into his arms. Walter, am I really that wild, selfish, and annoying? I love every version of you. Walter cupped my face and kissed me several times. I nestled happily in his arms, our fingers intertwined. Thank God for bringing Walter into my life. Walter's epilogue. I'm Walter. They all said Jacob had an incredibly cute sister who looked like a porcelain doll. Everyone was lining up to be Jacob's brother-in-law. I scoffed at them. Women would only slow me down. Then one day, Jacob brought his sister to my house. Well, I was a goner. How could such a perfect girl exist? Her voice was so soft when she called me Walter. She completely messed with my head. But I was good at pretending, so I acted cool and distant on the outside. Little girls like the cool, reserved type. I had to play the part. She invited me to her birthday. I spent 2 days and 2 nights thinking about her gift. But on her birthday, I learned the devastating news. Jacob is going to be her future husband. But not long after, Jacob came to me. He was going abroad and wanted me to take care of Gina for him. Jacob said, "Walter, out of all my friends, I trust you the most. I know you're not interested in women, so I'm leaving Gina in your hands." That felt a little weird. I was ecstatic on the inside, but my conscience was screaming at me. I asked, "How long will you be gone?" He said, "At least 3 years." I said, "That long? What if someone else steals your future wife?" He said, "Gina's not my future wife. I'm her brother, she's my sister." I said, "When do you leave?" "I'll see you off." I thought Jacob liked Gina too. Turns out it was just a brother's protectiveness. So my chance had come. Jacob told me all of Gina's likes, dislikes, and little habits, asking me to take good care of her. That couldn't have been more perfect. I started spending more and more time with Gina, and she didn't seem to mind at all. Before long, we were officially dating, though we kept it a secret for a while. In our 3rd year together, Jacob came back and found out about us. Seeing how he lost control, I refused to believe he doesn't have feelings for Gina. So I didn't waste any time. I married her. Life was blissful, until the Brooks siblings started their drama and made my Gina misunderstand me. That last time especially, when she didn't trust me. It broke my heart. But no matter how much she acts out, I'll always love her. Her family thought we needed to fix her temper and asked me to play along with their plan. I was completely against it. I couldn't bear to see Gina upset for even a second. After they all ganged up on me, I finally agreed. The receptionist called to say Gina had arrived. Ryan started getting cozy with me. I pushed him away. "Get away from me. If my wife sees this, I'm a dead man." But she saw it anyway. Gina looked so angry, but she didn't throw a fit. She looked at me with this pleading expression, and my heart just melted. It was so hard to keep up the act. Gina made me cookies. They were terrible, but they were made by my wife, so I had to force them down. Every night, I couldn't resist going home to see her. My soft, sweet wife, so beautiful even when she's asleep. On the day of the concert, I secretly watched her perform from backstage. My wife is so talented. She can play the violin and the cello, and she plays so beautifully. I fell in love with her all over again. They told me not to send flowers, but I refused. I snuck over to give them to her, but Ryan caught me and tried to pull me away. Gina is seriously fierce. She beat Ryan so badly he dropped the act and started screaming. Remembering she was pregnant, I quickly grabbed her. The misunderstanding is cleared up. I don't have to pretend anymore. All I can think about now is being close to my wife, and now I can. She's my wife to spoil, and I, Walter Stone, will do it willingly. Jacob's perspective. I'm Jacob. I have 2 regrets in my life. The first, on Gina's 18th birthday, I pushed her away. I couldn't understand my own heart. The second, I actually asked that bastard Walter to take care of Gina, and I told him everything about her. I will never forgive Walter. Gina's parents' perspective. Our daughter is truly lucky. Our son-in-law is a true romantic.